One of the most powerful spiritual principles that can completely change your life forever is picture overflow. This amazing change doesn't need special crystals or complex meditation that takes hours of your day. This principle is about the pictures you create in your mind every single moment you're awake. For example, if you want to attract love into your life, the truth is you need to overflow your mind with pictures of love, joy, and connection before love actually shows up in your real life. Otherwise, you'll keep trying different dating apps, going to new places, changing your appearance, thinking the problem is somewhere out there in the world. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you tried to change something in your life by changing what's happening around you? You might have switched jobs hoping to feel happier, but then found yourself feeling the same way at the new job. You might have moved to a new city thinking a fresh start would solve everything, only to discover that the same problems followed you there. You might have ended a relationship believing that was the source of your unhappiness, but then attracted someone with similar issues. This happens because most people are trying to change the reflection instead of changing what creates the reflection. Every single day, your mind is like a movie theater playing thousands of pictures. Most of the time, you're not even aware of these pictures because they happen so automatically. When you think about money, what pictures flash through your mind? Do you see bills piling up, your bank account getting smaller, or yourself struggling to make ends meet? When you think about relationships, do you picture yourself being rejected, betrayed, or alone? When you think about your future, do you see more of the same problems you have today, or do you see yourself living the life you actually want? Here's what most people don't realize. Your mind has been creating pictures based on everything you've experienced since you were a child. If you grew up hearing that money doesn't grow on trees, that good things don't last, or that you have to work extremely hard just to survive, then those experiences created pictures in your mind. These pictures became like a background program running all the time, creating your reality without you even knowing it. It's like having a movie playing in the background that you can't see, but it's controlling everything that happens to you. This is why people can work incredibly hard, follow all the right strategies, and still end up with the same results. They're trying to force change through action alone, but the pictures in their mind are still showing them the old reality. It's like trying to drive forward while your mind is stuck in reverse. The harder you try to move forward, the more frustrated you become because the pictures in your subconscious are pulling you back to what feels familiar and safe. So the first lesson of picture overflow is this: if you don't change the pictures in your mind, nothing in your outside world will truly change. You might get temporary improvements, but you'll always drift back to whatever matches the pictures you're holding inside. This is what picture overflow is all about. It's about taking control of the movie theater in your mind and choosing which pictures get to play over and over again. If you master this principle, everything you touch will become magical. I know that might sound too good to be true, but think about people you know who seem to have the golden touch. Everything they try seems to work out. Opportunities come to them easily. People want to help them. Good things just seem to flow into their lives naturally. These people aren't necessarily smarter or more talented than anyone else. They've just learned, either consciously or unconsciously, how to create the right pictures in their minds. But here's what makes this both powerful and challenging. Mastering picture overflow means you have to face the scary pictures in your head that you don't like. You have to become aware of all the negative movies that have been playing automatically. You have to see how you've been picturing yourself as not good enough, not deserving, or not capable. You have to notice how you've been creating mental images of the world as a dangerous, unfair, or limited place. This takes courage because it means taking full responsibility for what you've been creating. Many people would rather blame their circumstances, their past, or other people for their problems because it feels safer than admitting they have the power to change everything. With great power comes great responsibility, and that can feel overwhelming. It's easier to stay a victim of circumstances than to become the conscious creator of your reality. But if you're ready for real change, not just temporary fixes or surface-level improvements, then this is the path forward. If you're truly ready to step into this power, to take control of the pictures in your mind and start creating the reality you actually want, then you're in the right place. This isn't about positive thinking or pretending everything is fine when it's not. This is about understanding how reality actually works and learning to work with the natural laws of the universe instead of against them. Picture Overflow is about becoming a conscious participant in creating your life instead of just reacting to whatever happens to you. Picture Overflow works like a movie screen that shows the relationship between your thoughts and the world around you. Your inner movies and your outer reality are connected in ways that most people never understand. What do I mean by this? Think of your mind as a powerful projector that's always running, always sending out images and energy into the world. The universe then responds to these images by bringing you experiences that match what you've been projecting. Let's take the example of wanting more money in your life. Most people, when they think about money, immediately start creating pictures in their mind of not having enough. They see their bills spread out on the kitchen table. They picture themselves checking their bank account and feeling that sinking feeling in their stomach. They imagine having to say no to things they want because they can't afford them. They create mental movies of themselves working harder and harder but never getting ahead. All of these pictures are like instructions to the universe saying, "This is what I want more of in my life." The universe doesn't judge your pictures as good or bad. It doesn't decide that you deserve better or that you should be struggling. The universe is like a faithful friend who always agrees with the movies you're playing in your mind. If you're constantly showing it pictures of struggle, limitation, and lack, it responds by saying, "Okay, I understand. You want more experiences that confirm these pictures. Here you go." Then it brings you more situations where you don't have enough money, more bills to worry about, more reasons to feel stressed about your finances. The same thing happens with relationships. If deep down you're creating pictures of yourself being rejected, abandoned, or hurt, then that's what you're telling the universe you want to experience. You might consciously want love and connection, but if your inner movie theater is playing scenes of heartbreak, betrayal, and loneliness, then that's the signal you're sending out. The universe responds by bringing you people and situations that match those pictures. You end up attracting partners who confirm your fears, or you sabotage good relationships because they don't match the negative pictures you've been holding. When it comes to your career and success, the same principle applies. If you picture yourself as someone who never gets the good opportunities, who always gets passed over for promotions, or who isn't smart enough to succeed at a high level, then those pictures become your reality. You might work hard and have good intentions, but the pictures in your subconscious are creating energy that repels the very success you think you want. Other people can sense this energy, and opportunities seem to go to others instead of you. This is why simply trying to think positive thoughts doesn't work for most people. They try to think good thoughts on the surface, while deeper pictures of fear, doubt, and limitation are still running in the background. It's like trying to play a beautiful song on a radio while there's static and interference disrupting the signal. The mixed messages cancel each other out and nothing really changes. But when you start to overflow your mind with clear, consistent pictures of what you actually want, something amazing begins to happen. The universe starts to respond to these new images. It begins to arrange circumstances, bring people into your life, and create opportunities that match the new pictures you're projecting. This doesn't happen overnight because the universe has to reorganize physical reality to match your new inner reality, but it does happen when you're consistent and patient. Think of it this way: every picture you create in your mind has an energy attached to it. When you picture yourself as confident and successful, you generate confident and successful energy. When you picture yourself as loved and valued, you radiate loving and valuable energy. People can feel this energy even if they can't explain it. They're naturally drawn to people who carry positive, abundant energy, and they tend to avoid people who carry heavy, negative energy. This energy becomes like an invisible magnet that attracts experiences, people, and opportunities that match its frequency. If you've been carrying pictures of struggle and limitation, you've been broadcasting that energy and magnetizing more struggle and limitation. But when you start carrying pictures of abundance, love, and success, you begin to magnetize those experiences instead. It's not magic in the mystical sense, but it is a natural law of how energy and consciousness work in this universe. Most people don't see this connection because they're too focused on the outside world. They're looking at their current circumstances and using those circumstances to create more pictures of the same thing. They see their empty bank account and create more pictures of being broke. They experience a relationship problem and create more pictures of relationship drama. They face a challenge at work and create more pictures of career struggles. This creates a cycle where their outer reality keeps confirming and reinforcing their inner pictures, and their inner pictures keep creating more of the same outer reality. If we look carefully at the world around us, it's clear that most people are increasingly immersed in the frenzy of the outside world. They're consumed by social media, constantly checking their phones, always busy with activities and distractions. Many people have lost the connection to their inner wisdom, the inner essence that naturally knows how to create and attract what they truly want. They've forgotten that they have this incredible power within them to shape their reality through the pictures they choose to hold in their minds. Throughout history, wise teachers and spiritual masters have understood this principle. They knew that the inner world creates the outer world, that consciousness shapes reality, and that we have far more power than we realize to influence what happens in our lives. But in our modern world, we've been taught to focus almost exclusively on external action, on trying to manipulate and control the physical world through force and effort alone. We've forgotten the more elegant and powerful approach of working from the inside out. Picture Overflow is about returning to this ancient wisdom and applying it in practical ways to create the life you truly want. It's about recognizing that you are not a victim of circumstances, but a powerful creator who has been unconsciously creating your current reality through the pictures you've been holding. Once you understand this, once you really grasp that your inner pictures are the source of your outer experiences, everything changes. You stop trying to fix your life from the outside and start transforming it from the inside, where real change begins. The first key of Picture Overflow is understanding that the universe responds to two very specific things: how you picture yourself and how you picture the world around you. This might sound simple, but most people have never really thought about it this way. Every single day, you're creating two types of pictures in your mind. The first type is about your identity, who you think you are, what you're capable of, what you deserve, and what's possible for someone like you. The second type is about your worldview, how you see life, whether you believe the world is friendly or hostile, whether you think good things happen easily or require struggle. Let's start with the pictures you create about yourself. Right now, without even thinking about it, you have pictures in your mind about what kind of person you are. Maybe you see yourself as someone who's not good with money, who always struggles in relationships, or who never gets the lucky breaks. These pictures feel so real and true to you that you don't even question them. But here's what's important to understand. These pictures aren't facts about who you are. They're just images you've created based on past experiences, and they're creating your current reality. Think of it like looking in a bathroom mirror. If you stand in front of the mirror and frown, the mirror shows you a frown. If you smile, the mirror shows you a smile. The mirror doesn't judge whether you should be frowning or smiling. It just reflects exactly what you're showing it. Your relationship with yourself works the same way. When you see yourself as not good enough, the universe reflects that back to you through experiences that make you feel not good enough. When you see yourself as unworthy of love, the universe brings you situations that confirm that belief. Most people try to change their lives by focusing on the reflection instead of changing what they're showing to the mirror. They try to force the mirror to show them something different while they're still presenting the same image. This is like standing in front of a bathroom mirror, frowning, and trying to make the mirror show you a smile. You could stand there all day getting frustrated and angry at the mirror, but it will never work. The only way to see a smile in the mirror is to actually smile yourself. The second type of pictures you create are about how you see the world itself. Do you picture the world as a place where good things happen to people like you? Do you see it as abundant and full of opportunities, or do you see it as limited and competitive? Do you picture life as something that flows easily and naturally, or do you see it as a constant struggle where you have to fight for everything you get? These worldview pictures are incredibly powerful because they determine what you expect from life and what you're open to receiving. When you picture the world as unfair, limited, or hostile, you unconsciously look for evidence to support that view. You notice every time something doesn't go your way. You remember every disappointment and setback. You focus on news stories that confirm your belief that the world is a dangerous place. This isn't because you're negative or pessimistic by nature. It's because your mind is designed to find evidence that supports the pictures you're holding. This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy where your expectations shape your experiences. Here's a powerful way to think about it. You are like the director of a movie about your life. As the director, you get to choose what scenes to focus on, which characters to highlight, and what story to tell. If you direct your life movie to be a tragedy about someone who never gets what they want, then that's the movie that gets made. If you direct it to be an adventure story about someone who overcomes challenges and creates an amazing life, then that becomes your reality instead. What makes this even more powerful is that these two types of pictures, your self-image and your worldview, work together to create your reality. If you see yourself as unlucky and you see the world as unfair, these pictures reinforce each other. You expect bad things to happen, so you notice when they do, which confirms that you're unlucky, which reinforces your belief that the world is unfair. This creates a downward spiral that keeps you stuck in patterns you don't want. But when you start creating positive pictures about yourself and the world, the opposite happens. You begin to see yourself as someone who attracts good opportunities, and you start to see the world as a place that wants to support you. These pictures work together to create an upward spiral. You notice when good things happen, which confirms that you're lucky, which reinforces your belief that the world is abundant and friendly. This makes you more open to receiving even more good things. Instead of trying to directly manipulate the reflected image, instead of trying to force your external circumstances to change, you must learn to transform the image you're projecting in front of the mirror. This is like being a movie director who understands that the power isn't in trying to change what's already been filmed, but in choosing what to film next. You can't change the scenes that have already been shot, but you have complete control over what scenes you create going forward. Most people keep creating the same pictures over and over again because they don't realize they have a choice. They think their self-image and worldview are just facts about reality, not pictures they're actively creating. They say things like, "I'm just not good with money," or good things never happen to me, as if these are permanent truths instead of changeable pictures. But once you understand that these are just pictures you're creating, you realize you can create different pictures anytime you want. The mirror of reality is incredibly patient and consistent. It doesn't get tired of reflecting the same pictures back to you. It doesn't judge you for creating negative pictures or praise you for creating positive ones. It simply responds to whatever you're showing it, day after day, year after year. This is why some people can stay stuck in the same patterns for decades. They keep showing the mirror the same pictures, and the mirror keeps reflecting those pictures back to them as their life experiences. But the moment you understand this process, the moment you realize that you are the one creating these pictures and that you can change them anytime you want, everything shifts. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and start being the conscious creator of your reality. You stop trying to change your life from the outside and start transforming it from the inside, where real change begins. This is the first and most important key to mastering picture overflow. The second key of picture overflow is understanding why there's always a delay between creating new pictures in your mind and seeing them show up in your physical reality. This delay is one of the main reasons why people give up on their dreams and go back to their old patterns. They create beautiful pictures of what they want, but when it doesn't happen immediately, they think it's not working, and they return to their old way of thinking. In your mind, you can create any picture instantly. Right now, you can close your eyes and imagine yourself living in your dream house, driving your ideal car, or being in a perfect relationship. In the world of your imagination, these things exist immediately. You can see them, feel them, and experience them as if they're real. This is the power of consciousness. It can create instantly without any limitations or delays. But in the physical world, things work differently. Everything in the physical realm is made of matter, and matter has certain properties and follows certain laws. One of these laws is that physical things take time to change and rearrange themselves. Just like it takes time for a seed to grow into a tree, it takes time for the pictures in your mind to manifest as physical experiences in your life. Think of it this way: the physical world is much denser than the world of your thoughts and imagination. Your thoughts are like light. They can move instantly from one place to another. But physical matter is heavy and solid. It takes energy and time to move physical things around, to change circumstances, and to reorganize the material world to match your new inner pictures. This is exactly like planting a seed in your garden. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You understand that there's a natural process happening underground that you can't see. The seed is absorbing water, sending out roots, and preparing to break through the soil. Even though you can't see any progress on the surface, important changes are happening beneath the ground. The same thing happens when you start creating new pictures in your mind. Even though you can't see immediate changes in your external circumstances, important work is happening beneath the surface of your awareness. The universe is beginning to rearrange circumstances, align opportunities, and prepare the way for your new reality to emerge. This invisible work is just as real as the underground growth of a seed, even though you can't see it happening. This is where most people make their biggest mistake. They create beautiful pictures of what they want, but after a few days or weeks of not seeing results, they get impatient and discouraged. They start doubting whether it's really working. They begin to focus on the fact that nothing has changed yet, which creates new pictures of disappointment and failure. These negative pictures then interfere with the original positive pictures, creating mixed signals and confusion. A wise gardener understands that different plants take different amounts of time to grow. Some flowers bloom in a few weeks, while some trees take years to mature. The gardener doesn't judge the oak tree for not growing as fast as the daisy. They understand that bigger, more substantial growth takes more time. The same principle applies to the pictures you're creating. Small changes might happen quickly, while major life transformations take more time to fully manifest. Just like a gardener needs to keep watering the seeds even before they see any growth, you need to keep holding your positive pictures even before you see results. This means continuing to imagine your desired reality, continuing to feel grateful for what's coming, and continuing to act as if your new reality is already on its way. This consistent watering of your mental pictures is what allows them to grow and eventually break through into physical reality. Every gardener knows that there comes a moment when the seed suddenly breaks through the soil and becomes visible. One day there's nothing there, and the next day there's a small green shoot reaching toward the sun. This breakthrough moment often happens quickly, even though the preparation took much longer. The same thing happens with your mental pictures. You might not see any changes for weeks or months, and then suddenly everything starts falling into place at once. This is why faith is such an essential part of the manifestation process. Faith isn't about believing in something without evidence. Faith is about understanding the natural process of how consciousness creates reality and trusting that process, even when you can't see immediate results. It's about having the patience to let your pictures grow and develop without constantly doubting or interfering with the process. The time delay between creating your pictures and seeing them manifest is actually a test of how committed you are to your new reality. If you truly want something, you'll be willing to hold the picture of it for as long as it takes. If you're only casually interested, you'll give up when you don't see immediate results. The universe responds to your level of commitment and consistency. Every day that you continue to hold your positive pictures, you're adding energy to them. It's like making deposits in a bank account. Each day's deposit might seem small, but over time they compound and grow into something substantial. Your pictures are gathering momentum and power with each day that you maintain them. This compound effect is what eventually breaks through into physical manifestation. The third key that completely changed my understanding of how picture overflow works is this: the universe doesn't respond to the emotions behind your thoughts, but rather to the specific content of your thoughts. This might sound confusing at first, but once you understand it, it explains why so many people struggle to create positive changes in their lives, even when they're trying to think positively. Let me give you an example that will make this crystal clear. Imagine someone who keeps expressing dissatisfaction with their life, but there's specific content to their dissatisfaction. They say things like, "I hate my dead-end job," "I hate my demanding boss," "I hate my messy roommate," "I hate these bills I have to pay." Now, you might think that because they're expressing hate and negativity, they would attract more negativity in general. But that's not exactly how it works. The universe doesn't focus on the emotion of hate. Instead, it focuses on the specific content of what they're hating. When they say, "I hate my dead-end job," the universe hears "dead-end job" and brings them more situations that confirm they have a dead-end job. When they say, "I hate these bills," the universe hears bills and brings them more bills to deal with. The emotion of hate is actually irrelevant to the manifestation process. What matters is the specific pictures and content they're focusing on. This is why people who complain a lot often get more things to complain about. They think they're just venting their frustrations, but they're actually giving the universe very specific instructions about what to bring them more of. Every time they complain about their job, they're creating more pictures of job dissatisfaction. Every time they complain about money problems, they're reinforcing pictures of financial struggle. The universe responds to the content of their complaints, not the fact that they're complaining. This also explains why some people practice gratitude but don't see positive changes in their lives. They might say, "I'm grateful for my job," but then spend the rest of the day complaining about how much they hate going to work. The brief moment of gratitude gets overwhelmed by hours of negative focus. The universe responds to whatever you're focusing on most consistently, not just the positive thoughts you try to think for a few minutes each day. Understanding this distinction between content and emotion is revolutionary. It means that you could be feeling frustrated or impatient about something you want, but if you keep focusing on the content of what you want rather than the content of what you don't want, you'll still attract what you want. Your emotions don't sabotage the process as long as your mental content stays focused on your desired outcome. This is the fundamental difference between a scarcity mentality and an abundance mentality. It's not about forcing yourself to feel positive emotions all the time. It's about choosing to focus on content that represents abundance rather than content that represents scarcity. When you focus on what you have, what you want, and what's possible, you're creating abundant content. When you focus on what you lack, what you hate, and what's wrong, you're creating scarcity content. You've probably heard the saying about seeing the glass as half full rather than half empty. This isn't just about being optimistic. It's about understanding that your reality will literally reflect whichever aspect of the glass you choose to focus on. If you consistently focus on the empty part of the glass, your life will reflect more emptiness. If you consistently focus on the full part of the glass, your life will reflect more fullness. Your mind is incredibly powerful, but it can only focus on a limited number of things at once. This means you have to choose what to pay attention to. In any situation, there are always multiple things you could focus on. You could focus on what's wrong or what's right, what's missing or what's present, what's difficult or what's possible. Whatever you choose to focus on becomes the content that the universe uses to create more of your reality. The key to applying this in your life is to become deliberate about what you focus on. Instead of letting your attention wander randomly to whatever problems or complaints come up, you consciously choose to focus on what you want and what you already have that's good. This doesn't mean pretending that problems don't exist. It means choosing not to give them your primary attention and energy. Start by focusing on what you already have right now that's good in your life. Look for everything you can appreciate, no matter how small. Then focus on all the progress you've made, even if it doesn't feel like much. Think about how far you've come from where you started. Recognize the beautiful relationships in your life, the opportunities available to you, and the potential that exists in your future. Next, get clear about what you actually want, not what you don't want, not what you want to avoid, but what you genuinely desire to experience. How do you want to feel? What kind of experiences do you want to have? What would make your life feel like a real journey of discovery and growth? Create clear, specific pictures of your desired reality and spend time each day focusing on these pictures. It's important to understand that these pictures don't have to be perfectly detailed. They can be somewhat vague as long as they represent what you want rather than what you don't want. The key is that they feel good when you think about them, and they generate feelings of excitement, anticipation, and possibility. These positive feelings are the signal that you're focusing on the right content. When you consistently focus on what you want and what you already have that's good, something amazing begins to happen. The gap between your current life and your desired life starts to close. This doesn't happen through magic, but through natural psychological and practical processes. When you focus on what you want, you become more aware of opportunities that can help you get it. You start to push the boundaries of your comfort zone because you're motivated by a clear vision of where you're going. Your comfort zone expands naturally when you have a compelling vision of what's possible for you. Instead of staying safe and small, you start taking actions that align with your desired reality. You begin to see yourself as someone who deserves good things, so you start behaving in ways that attract good things. This isn't about forcing yourself to take action, but about being naturally inspired to grow and expand because you're focused on exciting possibilities rather than current limitations. The fourth key is the secret that separates ordinary people from those who seem to have the magic touch with everything they do. This is about understanding and reversing what I call the reality cycle. And once you learn to flip this cycle for yourself, you will no longer be uncertain about what you're doing. You will literally watch reality changing before your eyes in ways that will amaze you and everyone around you. Let me explain how most people live their lives and why they stay stuck in the same patterns year after year. Most people start by looking at their current situation and observing what's happening around them. They see the bills on their kitchen table. They notice their empty bank account. They experience problems in their relationships, or they feel stuck in a job they don't enjoy. This observation creates thoughts and feelings inside them. When they observe these problems, they naturally start creating mental pictures that match what they're seeing. If they see bills, they create pictures of financial stress and worry. If they see relationship problems, they create pictures of loneliness and frustration. If they see career limitations, they create pictures of being stuck and powerless. These pictures then generate emotions like fear, anxiety, anger, and disappointment. Here's what happens next. The universe, like a perfect mirror, has no choice but to reflect back these pictures and emotions as real experiences in their life. So they get more bills to worry about, more relationship drama, and more reasons to feel stuck in their career. Then what do? They look at these new problems and use them to create even more negative pictures, which creates more negative reflections, which gives them more problems to observe. This creates what I call the victim cycle. They observe problems, create worried pictures, get more problems reflected back to them, observe those new problems, create more worried pictures, and on it goes. They become trapped in this loop and can't figure out why their life never seems to improve. They might try different strategies, start new businesses, move to new places, or change relationships, but the same patterns keep showing up because they never break the cycle at its source. This is why people can follow the exact same business strategies that work for others, but get completely different results. They can read all the right books, attend all the seminars, and take all the right actions. But if they're still operating from the victim cycle, their results will always be limited. They're trying to change their external world while their internal world is still creating pictures of limitation and struggle. But spiritual creators, people who seem to have the golden touch, do this process completely backwards. Instead of starting with observation, they start with the image they want to create. They begin by forming clear pictures in their minds of what they want to experience, even before they see any evidence of it in their physical reality. This is the first step of what I call the creator cycle. A true creator says, I'm going to create pictures of abundance, love, success, and joy, regardless of what I currently see around me. They understand that their current circumstances were created by past thoughts and pictures, so they don't use current circumstances to determine what pictures to create next. Instead, they consciously choose new pictures based on what they want to experience in the future. This requires courage because it means turning your back on your current reality and refusing to let it determine your thoughts and feelings. When you see bills in the mail, instead of immediately creating pictures of financial stress, you consciously choose to create pictures of abundance and prosperity. When you experience a relationship challenge, instead of creating pictures of loneliness, you choose to create pictures of love and connection. When you consistently hold these new pictures, the universe has no choice but to start reflecting them back to you, just like it reflected your old pictures. But here's the key difference. Instead of observing the reflections and using them to create more negative pictures, you look for confirmation of your positive pictures. You actively search for evidence that your new reality is beginning to manifest. This is where the magic really happens. Instead of observing problems, you start confirming progress. You look in the mirror of reality specifically to see what's working and what's improving. When you see small positive changes, you think, yes, that's working. Look, that happened exactly like I pictured it. This confirmation strengthens your positive pictures and accelerates the manifestation process. Let's say you've been creating pictures of increased confidence and self-worth. Instead of noticing every time you feel insecure, you start noticing every time someone treats you with respect, every time you speak up for yourself, or every time you feel good about who you are. You actively look for evidence that your confidence is growing, and you celebrate these small victories as proof that your new pictures are working. This doesn't mean you ignore problems or pretend they don't exist. It means you choose not to give problems your primary attention and energy. You acknowledge challenges when they arise, but you don't use them as the basis for creating more pictures. Instead, you stay focused on the pictures you've consciously chosen and look for evidence that those pictures are becoming your reality. The more you practice this confirmation process, the more momentum your positive pictures gain. It's like building a snowball. At first, you might only find tiny pieces of evidence that your new reality is emerging. But as you acknowledge and celebrate these small signs, they grow bigger and more frequent. Eventually, the positive changes become so obvious that everyone around you can see them. People who master this cycle reversal often amaze their friends and family with how quickly their lives transform. Others might say things like, "You're so lucky," or "Good things always happen to you." But what they're really seeing is someone who has learned to work with the natural laws of consciousness and reality creation. They've learned to be the director of their life movie instead of just a passive observer. Now let me share with you the specific exercise that I still practice every single day, and that has the power to completely revolutionize your life. This isn't just a one-time activity, but a daily practice that will gradually reprogram your subconscious mind and align your energy with what you want to create. The more consistently you do this exercise, the more dramatic your results will be. The first step is to get absolutely clear about what you want in the long term. I want you to imagine yourself 5 years from now, living your ideal life. What does your perfect day look like from the moment you wake up until you go to sleep? Where are you living? What kind of work are you doing? How do you feel about yourself and your life? What kinds of relationships do you have? What experiences are you enjoying regularly? Don't worry about how you're going to achieve this ideal life, or whether it seems realistic based on your current circumstances. Just allow yourself to dream and imagine freely. What activities make you feel most alive and fulfilled? What accomplishments would make you feel proud and satisfied? What kind of person do you want to become? What characteristics and qualities do you want to develop? Once you have a clear vision of your future self and ideal life, start creating powerful pictures about your identity. These are statements about who you are becoming, not who you think you are right now based on past experiences. Create affirmations that describe your ideal identity. For example, I am worthy of abundance and success. I am a magnet for opportunities and good fortune. I am confident and capable of achieving anything I set my mind to. Or, I carry within me the magic touch that turns everything I touch to gold. Next, create pictures about how you see the world when you're living your ideal reality. How does the universe relate to you when you're experiencing everything you want? Create affirmations like, "The universe conspires in my favor. Everything happens at the perfect time for my highest good." Opportunities flow to me easily and naturally. The world is abundant and there's more than enough for everyone. Or, life supports me in achieving my dreams and goals. Every morning, spend at least 10 minutes flooding your mind with these identity and worldview pictures. Don't just repeat the words mechanically. Really see yourself as this person. Feel what it would feel like to know with certainty that you are worthy, capable, and supported by the universe. Create vivid mental movies of yourself, living your ideal life, and experiencing your desired reality. The key to making this exercise powerful is to engage all your senses and emotions. Don't just think about your ideal life, but actually feel yourself living it. If you want more money, imagine the feeling of financial security and abundance. If you want better relationships, feel the warmth and love of meaningful connections. If you want career success, experience the satisfaction and fulfillment of meaningful work. At the end of each day, spend a few minutes looking for evidence that your new pictures are beginning to manifest. Did anyone treat you with extra respect? Did you feel more confident in a situation where you used to feel insecure? Did any opportunities present themselves? Did you notice yourself thinking more positively about your future? Celebrate these small signs as proof that your picture overflow practice is working. I need to warn you that your old programming will resist this new practice. Your subconscious mind is comfortable with the old pictures and will try to pull you back to familiar patterns of thinking. You might find yourself automatically creating negative pictures when you face challenges or setbacks. This is normal and expected. The key is to gently redirect your attention back to your chosen pictures without judging yourself for the temporary slips. Remember that this is a practice, not a quick fix. Just like building physical strength requires consistent exercise over time, building mental and spiritual strength requires consistent picture creation over time. Some days the practice will feel easy and natural, other days it will feel forced or difficult. Do it anyway. The compound effect of daily practice is what creates the miraculous transformations. Be careful about who you share this practice with, especially in the beginning. Some people won't understand what you're doing and might discourage you or make you doubt the process. Surround yourself with people who support your growth and believe in your potential. If you can't find such people in your current environment, connect with them through books, videos, or online communities of like-minded individuals. I know this might sound too simple or too good to be true, but let me share with you my personal experience and why I'm so passionate about teaching picture overflow. This isn't just theory or wishful thinking. This is something I've applied in my own life with results that honestly surprised even me. When I first learned about these principles, I was skeptical, but I was also desperate enough to try anything that might change my circumstances. Years ago, my life looked nothing like what I have today. I was struggling financially, working jobs that drained my energy and made me feel like I was wasting my potential. I was lonely and had trouble forming meaningful relationships. I felt stuck and couldn't see a way forward. Every day felt like a repetition of the day before, and I was beginning to lose hope that things could ever really change for me. When I first heard about the power of mental pictures and visualization, I thought it was nonsense. It seemed too simple and too magical to be real. I had tried positive thinking before and hadn't seen much difference in my life. But I was at a point where I had nothing to lose, so I decided to give it a serious try. I committed to practicing picture overflow every single day for at least 6 months, regardless of whether I saw immediate results. Every morning, I would spend 15 minutes creating vivid pictures of the life I wanted. I imagined myself financially abundant, surrounded by loving relationships, doing work that fulfilled me, and feeling confident and capable. I created detailed mental movies of my ideal day, from waking up in my dream home to going to sleep feeling grateful and satisfied with my life. For the first few weeks, absolutely nothing seemed to change. In fact, some things seemed to get worse. I faced unexpected bills, relationship conflicts, and additional stress at work. I was tempted to quit the practice and dismiss it as wishful thinking, but something inside me urged me to continue, so I kept creating my positive pictures despite the apparent lack of results. After about a month of consistent practice, I started noticing tiny changes. People seemed slightly friendlier toward me. I felt a little more confident in social situations. Small opportunities began presenting themselves at work. These changes were so subtle that I almost missed them, but I had been looking for evidence of progress, so I noticed and celebrated them. As I continued the practice and acknowledged these small improvements, bigger changes started happening. I received an unexpected promotion at work. Someone I had admired from a distance reached out to me, and we began developing a friendship. I found money-saving opportunities that reduced my financial stress. Each positive change made me more confident in the process and more committed to the daily practice. Around the fourth month of consistent practice, things began changing rapidly. It was like everything started falling into place at once. I was offered a job opportunity that was exactly what I had been picturing. A romantic relationship developed naturally with someone who matched everything I had been imagining in a partner. My financial situation improved dramatically, and I felt more confident and optimistic than I had in years. What amazed me most was how the positive changes seemed to accelerate and compound. Each good thing that happened made it easier for more good things to happen. It was like I had shifted into a different reality where opportunities and positive experiences were the norm rather than the exception. Friends and family members started commenting on how different I seemed and how much my life had improved. Some people attributed my transformation to luck or coincidence. They said things like, "You're just having a good streak," or "Things were bound to turn around eventually." But I knew the difference. I had been tracking my daily practice and could see the direct correlation between my mental discipline and my external results. The more consistent I was with creating positive pictures, the more positive my reality became. There were still challenges and setbacks along the way. The difference was in how I responded to them. Instead of using problems as evidence that nothing had really changed, I maintained my positive pictures and looked for lessons and opportunities within the difficulties. This new way of responding to challenges made them much less disruptive and helped me recover more quickly. Now, several years later, my life bears almost no resemblance to what it was before I started this practice. I wake up excited about my day instead of dreading it. I'm surrounded by people who love and support me. I'm doing work that feels meaningful and fulfilling. I have financial security and freedom that once seemed impossible. Most importantly, I feel like the person I always wanted to be. This is why I'm so passionate about sharing Picture Overflow with others. I know from personal experience that it works, not because it's magic, but because it aligns you with natural laws of how consciousness creates reality. When you understand these principles and apply them consistently, you stop being a victim of circumstances and become the conscious creator of your life experience. What's even more beautiful is how this transformation affects everyone around you. When you're living from your positive pictures instead of your old limitations, you inspire others to believe in their own potential. You become living proof that change is possible and that people really can create the lives they want. This creates a ripple effect that extends far beyond your own personal transformation. As we reach the end of our journey through Picture Overflow, I want you to understand that we've only scratched the surface of what's possible for you. The principles I've shared aren't just concepts to think about. but powerful tools that can completely reshape your reality when you apply them consistently. You now have access to the same understanding that has transformed countless lives throughout history. Through exploring picture overflow, we've discovered an inner power that most people never learn to use consciously. You've learned that what you see around you in your daily life is actually an echo of the pictures you've been creating in your mind. Your current circumstances aren't permanent facts about who you are or what's possible for you. They're simply reflections of past mental patterns that you can change starting today. The real secret of transformation isn't about trying to force your external world to change through willpower and effort alone. The secret is recognizing that you are the artist of your own life, and you have the power to create new pictures anytime you choose. When you truly understand this, you stop feeling like a victim of circumstances and start feeling like the powerful creator you were always meant to be. Instead of just observing your current reality and letting it determine your thoughts and feelings, you can become like an artist standing before a blank canvas. You get to choose what colors to use, what images to create, and what story to tell through your mental pictures. The universe then responds to your artistic vision by arranging circumstances, people, and opportunities to match what you've been consistently imagining. Just like the ancient alchemists who believed they could turn ordinary metals into gold, you can transform your ordinary life into something extraordinary through the alchemy of consciousness. When you consistently hold pictures of abundance, love, success, and joy, you're not just daydreaming. You're engaging in a sacred process of creation that has been used by wise people throughout all cultures and time periods. This isn't about believing in something supernatural or magical. You're working with natural laws of how consciousness interacts with reality. Just as there are physical laws like gravity that always work whether you understand them or not, there are mental and spiritual laws that govern how your thoughts and pictures create your experiences. Picture overflow is simply a way of working with these laws consciously instead of unconsciously. Your journey with picture overflow is really a journey of remembering who you truly are and what you're truly capable of. You're not just a physical body trying to survive in a difficult world. You're a powerful consciousness with the ability to create, to innovate, to transcend limitations, and to manifest experiences that align with your highest vision of what's possible. As you begin to apply these principles and experience positive changes in your life, you'll naturally become an inspiration to others. Your transformation will give hope to people who have been struggling with their own limitations. You'll become living proof that change is possible and that people really can create the lives they want when they understand how reality actually works. I invite you to see this moment as the beginning of a new chapter in your life. You now have the knowledge and tools you need to start creating the reality you truly want. The only question is whether you'll have the courage and commitment to apply what you've learned consistently over time. The principles work, but they only work when you work with them. Starting today, begin to pay attention to the pictures you're creating in your mind throughout the day. Notice when you're focusing on what you don't want and gently redirect your attention to what you do want. Start each morning by spending a few minutes creating vivid pictures of your ideal life and the person you're becoming. End each day by looking for evidence that your new pictures are beginning to manifest. If you commit to this practice and stay consistent with it, I promise you that your life will begin to change in ways that will amaze you. The changes might be subtle at first, but they will grow stronger and more obvious over time. You'll start to feel more confident, more optimistic, and more in control of your destiny. Opportunities will begin appearing that match your new pictures perfectly. Remember that you're not alone on this journey. There are people all around the world who are discovering and applying these same principles. Some of them are just beginning like you, while others have been practicing for years and can serve as examples of what's possible. Connect with these like-minded individuals whenever you can for support, encouragement, and inspiration. Most importantly, never forget that your potential is truly unlimited. Whatever you can picture in your mind, hold consistently in your thoughts, and feel genuinely in your heart is possible for you to experience in your physical reality. The universe is abundant beyond measure, and there are no limits to what you can create except the limits you accept in your own mind. The time for transformation is now. You have everything you need to begin creating the life of your dreams. You understand how Picture Overflow works. You have practical exercises to apply. And you know that others have succeeded using these exact same principles. The only thing standing between you and your ideal reality is your commitment to consistently apply what you've learned. So step forward with confidence and excitement, knowing that you are a powerful creator with the ability to shape your reality through the pictures you choose to hold in your mind. Your journey of conscious creation begins now, and the universe is ready to respond to whatever vision you're brave enough to consistently maintain. The canvas of your life is waiting for you to pick up the brush and start painting your masterpiece. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. Your transformation starts the moment you begin applying these principles, and I'm excited for you to experience the magic of Picture Overflow in your own life. The universe is waiting to reflect back to you the beautiful pictures you're about to create.